everyone, and welcome to an XTIVIA webinar, delivering the information you need for the business future you want. Our sessions cast a wide net, covering mission-critical technologies and strategies for all business initiatives. We're sharing our knowledge to help your business thrive in today's new norm. My name is Alex Killian, and I'm the video producer here on XTIVIA's marketing team. To tell you a little bit about XTIVIA before we dive into our webinar this morning. For nearly 3 decades, we've been providing a variety of expert IT services to hundreds of businesses in countless industries. If you can imagine the business outcome, XTIVIA can create it with technology. Today, we'll be hearing from some of our certified MuleSoft professionals. Bill, go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining XTIVIA's MuleSoft integration webinar. This morning's webinar will be on MuleSoft integration with TFS version control. The reason we thought we have this webinar is because we have a banking client in the West Coast who is having an issue integrating their TFS version control with Mule. So we thought others may be having the same issue. So this webinar will actually give you an option on how to integrate your version control with Mule. That being said, I have 2 architects who will be basically walking through this webinar. Shrikant will actually walk through the slides and give you a demo, and then Rajeshri and Shrikant will actually answer your questions at the end. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to Shrikant so he can go through the actual PowerPoint and demo of TFS integration with Mule. So Shrikant, you can take it from here, please.
Thank you, Bill. Today's demo is basically we want to go over the installation of Anypoint Studio and installation of the Eclipse TFS plugin. Then we are going to create a TFS repository. Afterwards, we are going to create a Mule project and configure the TFS server. And we will do a round of check-in and check-out from this TFS. Then we are going to build the TFS using Azure DevOps pipeline. So I am going to run couple of the slides with the more details. In the Anypoint Studio installation, we need to make sure to check the JDK 8 as a minimum required version, and below list of the steps for installation of the Git and TFS Eclipse plugin. Here is the step where we can create the TFS repository. In order to create the TFS repository, we need to have the Microsoft Visual Studio and Azure DevOps access credentials, and the user has to be the administrator. In order to do this, we need to log into this portal and do the different steps. I'm going to walk you through in that demonstration. After creating the repository, we have to install, we have to check in and check out this Anypoint code from the Anypoint Studio. In order to do that, below are the list of the steps we need to follow. Finally, we have to make the build process. We need to log into the DevOps portal and we need to create the pipeline. In Azure, there is a concept called pipeline. Pipeline will define the list of the steps to execute the complete build cycle. In the demonstration, I'm going to explain you that. So I will jump into this demo and I will go through in detail and let me know if any questions in the lastly. So I'm going back to the Anypoint Studio. Initially, I want to check the Anypoint Studio installation details. For that, I'm checking what are the installed software. In this, I'm verifying for the TFS. You can verify by searching in this. So the TFS has been installed into this my Anypoint Studio. And just now I've created a new project, and I want to just check in this particular project. In order to do that, you have to right click on the team and the share project. As soon as we click on the share project, we will get the list of the repositories which are already created in the TFS server. In this, we newly created this Mule repository, and clicking on this and clicking on save and click on this Mule repository and click on the next. Finally, you can go ahead and just click on finish. And in this TFS Team Explorer tab, it will ask you for the check in the comments. Every check-in need to provide the appropriate comments. Once after this check-in, it will show you the version number this particular check-in has been assigned. For this, 39 has been assigned in this TFS repository. If you go back and check for the TFS repository, you could able to see, go to repos. If you see, this is the 139 we have just now checked in. So with this, from the MuleSoft Anypoint Studio, we could able to check in the code to the TFS repository. And I would like to change a file in order to just verify the checkout will work it out or not. To do this, just go ahead and click on this file and just click on edit. If you click on edit, it will show you it will give you the option to edit. I'm checking in this particular comment which is recently added. Now, if you see here the updated POM, the version number is 40. So I would like to go to my project in the Anypoint Studio. If you see here, the file number is 39. So I want to make complete project update. So if you go ahead and check this particular pom.xml file, whatever the latest changes, it has been reflected into Anypoint Studio. So with this TFS repository from the Anypoint Studio, we could achieve check-in and check-out easily. So the next step is we have to make a build of this particular repository. In order to do this, we have to, in the same Mule repository, we have to go to the pipelines, and you can create the pipeline. For making this first step, you need to select the appropriate repository, the type of repository. It can be a GitHub, Bitbucket, or Team Version Control. This can be achieved using anything. So right now I'm using my Team Foundation version control. And in this Team Foundation version control, we already log in with appropriate credentials. So it is going to show you list of the repository available assigned to this particular user. If you go ahead and expand this, it will show you the project. So I'm going to select the project root folder and click on continue. And you need to select what is the build type. For my Mule project, I'm using Apache Maven. And you need to provide the appropriate Maven pom.xml. And you need to provide what is the goal. I'm specifying my goal is clean package. I'm building and packaging. And deploy. And you need to pass the Mule runtime variable, Mule deploy. This will execute this particular goal in pom.xml. With that, the packaged Mule archive will be deployed into the Cloud Hub. And you have to just go ahead and save and queue to run the particular this pipeline. If you want to just save, you click on save, and it will save to this one. Next, already I have created a pipeline which is already executed. It will take time. So I'm going to show already existing pipeline. If you see this, the initial step is all about it will prepare the build directory and download all required tasks, and it will set it up the Maven. We don't need to do anything. It's all about it's internally Azure DevOps will take care. And to check out, it will completely delete the workspace and it will recreate the workspace. And followed by it will execute the Maven pom.xml file entries. Individually, it will download all required jar files, and followed by it will create the compressed jar file, and it will deploy. If you see -d mule deploy, we have provided in the goal, right? So with that, if you see here, it's deploying the artifact into the Mule Cloud Hub. This is how we can achieve the and leverage DevOps to making our MuleSoft projects into TFS.
Thank you, Shrikant. So I'd like to introduce the panel for this webinar. The panel basically is going to consist of 3 individuals. I'll start with Titania, who is our Director of Application Architecture and Development. Thank you, Titania, for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
Then our next panelist is Shrikant, who is one of the authors of this webinar. Shrikant is one of our technical leads and architects in the XTIVIA organization. Thank you, Shrikant, for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
And last but not least is Rajeshri, who is also one of our senior architects and a technical lead in the XTIVIA organization. Thank you, Rajeshri, for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
So with that said, we've got several questions from the audience that we'd like to go over with our panelists. The first question is, what are the benefits for adopting DevOps in the enterprise? Titania, would you like to start with that question? What are the benefits to adopting DevOps in the enterprise?
Yes, Bill. Basically, DevOps gives many advantages for the enterprises. First is it improves the quality of the applications deliverables, or it reduces the delivery of the time, reduces the time to deliver the applications, and it automates a lot of manual tasks like checking out the code and building the projects and deploying the projects into the running the test cases and deploying the projects into the test environments and releasing the projects. So it automates both continuous integration and continuous delivery. The advantages of continuous integration is whenever developers check their developed code or features from their development branch to the trunk, so automatically these builds, the build process will be triggered, and it checks out the code, and it runs the unit test cases and integration test cases, and regression test case, exit test cases, and it deploys the applications into the customer test environment. In this process, maybe if anything is failed, we can also impose code quality tools and code coverage checking tools. And the main advantage of this is we can catch the bugs very early, bugs in very early stages, so that whenever any test case is failed, development team will get the notification, and they can start working on the bug at that moment, instead of working on that maybe later in 2-3 days. After 2-3 days, whenever it caught by the testing team, by that time the developer may move to the other sprint. So this will reduce bug fixing time also. So a developer is still in touch with what he has developed. So this gives this reduces the bug fixing time also, and improves the quality of the deliverables, because everything has been testing, unit testing and integration testing and integration testing cases executing very frequently, maybe every day or twice per day periodically, and it improves the continuous delivery also. So always the trunk will have the production ready code. So whenever the quality control team is tested and finalize the trunk, we can immediately release that into the higher environments, and it can anytime it has the special branches to release for the release. Anytime we can release into the production. So it improves a lot of deployments also, and because a lot of deployments also. So it obviously it reduces the downtime of the application. It can happen at the back end. So you can do many hard deployments in fact. So this is how DevOps will help the enterprises to improve their quality and decrease the bug fixing time and improve the releases very well.
Oh, perfect. So I like to also ask Shrikant that same question. So Shrikant, what are the benefits to adopting DevOps in the enterprise?
Yeah, basically the early identification of the issues, and it's kind of in day-to-day agile development methodology. The DevOps provides more accurate results due to, instead of finding the issues in the last, so we can early identification. This is a very basic advantage we are getting out of DevOps. The secondly is we are going to do the release day to day, and we can find what going to be happen out of our plan and design. So this we can achieve using DevOps.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so we've got a couple more questions from the audience, and thank you for that response, Shrikant. I'll go to the next question, and I'll address this question to Rajeshri. So Rajeshri, the next question are you performing every release with M-unit testing, case execution, and capturing the results?
Yes, of course. So with the DevOps CI/CD, we are going to run the test cases, M-unit test cases, and the continuously, so whatever the code that we are checking into that the trunk, and it is continuously build and test cases run, and results will be published. So whatever here, if anything goes wrong, yeah, we can mail to the people who are responsible for that, so that people can immediately take action on that one, so that we can minimize the issues as well as the code quality.
Perfect. So I also like to ask Chaitanya that same question. So Chaitanya, are you performing every release with M-unit testing, execution, and capturing the results? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, Bill. We are we are doing this as a best practice. Whatever the code we have been developing in the MuleSoft, almost every flow should has the 1 or 2 M-unit test cases for success scenario or negative, including the negative scenarios and alternate scenarios also. So this gives us whenever the development whenever the code is checked into the trunk, so when the automatic build process, as I said in the earlier question, build process runs. So as part of all these M-unit test cases has been will be executed, and if any tests are failed in that build process, immediately our team will get the notification. So it gives teams to so that team can fix those problems very quickly, and so that we can catch the bugs very early. So it improves the quality of the product before going into the testing process, and it reduces the lot of process once it goes to the testing team. The bug has to be raised, and it has to assign to the development team. Instead of going through all these process, direct developers will get this build failure things, and they can immediately act on that, and they can correct, they can fix it, and they can the build can trigger immediately, and it will be released to the quality control team. So this is the question, to answer this question, we are running M-unit test cases for every module or every microservice or every API. If you're talking about the API-led connectivity, okay, we will write the M-unit test cases, and this will be executed as part of our CI/CD process.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Chaitanya. So we have a couple more questions from the audience, and I'm going to take the next one and address the next question to Shrikant. We'll start with Shrikant. What are the tools used for code coverage and code quality?
Yeah, we are using code coverage and code quality tools as part of the DevOps, so which enables for the customers to identify in each release what are the defects, as well as what are the code quality the range of the code which has developed from the last release to current release, so we can identify using it. As a best practice, we are using, we have in our enterprise, we are using multiple code coverage tools. In that, one of the example one is SonarQube, so which provides us a aggregative.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Shrikant. I'd like to also get your thoughts, Rajeshri, on that same question. What are the tools used for code coverage and code quality?
Oh, in our the organization, we are using the SonarQube only. So with that SonarQube, we can, as a part of our CI/CD only, this we can develop, we can build a, we can say we have to give a build. In that build, we can give all the things like compiling of that code and running the test cases, and then giving the results. So all these things will happen with the build. So here, while running the test cases, we can use this SonarQube. So this will give results, and these results we can make use of how the code quality is coming. We can propose that we can have at least a minimum to minimum 80% code coverage, so that we can ensure our code or our product is having a good quality of the quality, so that we are confidently we can deliver the code to the customer.
Thank you, Rajeshri. I have one final question from the audience, and I'd like to address this question to Tanya first, and then I'll then go to Rajeshri to give her thoughts on it. So the last question we have from the audience is, any monitoring and analysis tools used across the enterprise like Splunk or Elk?
Okay, this is really depends on the customer, what we are dealing. Okay, different customers uses different tools. Some of the customers can some of our customers has been using Splunk, and some of the customers has been using ELK. And when you talk about the Mule applications, you can configure the runtime manager to integrate with the Splunk and ELK. But some of our customers are using their own proprietary tools. For them, what we had to do is we had to develop custom component, custom modules to the Mule application, so that they can use as part of they can use those activities as part of the application. They can drag and drop, and they can configure just like a logging component in the Mule. Okay, that will be published to their existing proprietary log monitoring tools. So to integrate with their existing monitoring tools, we had to also develop some services. Okay, so those will receive these messages, and they will translate the messages depending on the requirement of their monitoring tool, and they will inject into their databases, or maybe their Elasticsearch available.
Thank you, Chaitanya. So Rajeshri, what are your thoughts on the same question?
Yeah, as mentioned, Chaitanya, that it differs from client to client. So if the client is having the proprietary type of logging system, or some other backend type of the systems, so for that we have to have a custom type of the monitoring the tool we have to develop. We have to develop, and then we have to use it. So here we are using one of our customers, one connector for this logging monitoring tool purpose.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank our panelists for joining us today. It seems like the audience has a great deal of interest in continuous integration and continuous delivery, since we started our topic with integration of version control with the continuous delivery, continuous integration, and all our questions seem to cover all the aspects of continuous delivery and continuous integration. So maybe that's a future topic for us. So Alex, I'd like you to take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bill. And thank you to all our panelists who joined this morning. As Bill mentioned, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And keep joining us for these webinars. We're going to have lots more coming up. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great Thursday.